I don't know if I would necessarily say everybody should have 2 rabbits on board, because maybe not everybody wants that, but they do make pretty awesome little family members and companions, so there is that.
I'm Adam.
I'm Rachel.
And this is our school bus conversion, Luna, and our channel name, Soulful Bus Life, both on Instagram and YouTube.
This video is sponsored by Dylan McGaster. Check out our new channel by clicking the link and be sure to subscribe.
6 years ago, I'd say, we kind of started seeing the tiny houses, and you see them on Pinterest and Instagram and YouTube and stuff, and it's like that kind of planted the seed for a new way of life. And that was our initial plan, was to do a tiny house. But then once we started looking into the trailer cost, the build cost, the truck cost to pull the tiny house and everything, it's like, okay, you're not saving from what we were already doing with our house and mortgage and car payments and everything. So then we found the school bus conversions. It's like, that was it. And then next thing we know, we bought a bus and spent 11 months converting it.
I think also being intrigued by the minimalistic lifestyle, having less but ultimately having more. So that was, I think, really intriguing for us. So that was one of the things I really loved about going tiny, is getting rid of stuff and going minimal.
She's always been the one that, like, every 6 months, it's like, okay, what can we purge? What can we get rid of? Like, how can we minimize? And I'm like, well, we might need that. You never know, like, that might be useful later. And for me, that was a challenging process moving into the bus, was like letting go of the stuff. Now that we've been in the bus almost a year, I don't miss hardly any of that stuff at all. It's so much more fulfilling to just wake up every day and do what you want to do and do what makes you happy. And we've still filled the bus with some more stuff that we didn't have when we started with, but it's like you realize quickly what's important. This is our 1999 Bluebird All-American school bus. This is a rear engine, has the Cummins 8.3 with a 5-speed Allison transmission, has a great amount of torque, has no problem doing freeway speeds. When we were looking for the bus, we wanted to make sure that we found a bus that was geared for highway mileage instead of just being geared to be around town. I've always wanted a Volkswagen bus, and since we bought a big bus, I decided to paint it like an old school Volkswagen with the V in the front and kind of that old vintage seafoam green look. I replaced all of the headlights with LEDs, and then I replaced the old school flasher lights up top with fog lights. It has actually allowed us to catch a couple of campsites that we would have just blasted right past otherwise. All of the mirrors are heated mirrors. That came factory with the bus. And then if we kind of cruise around this side, we did keep the standard factory door. It is something that we've talked about actually replacing. It doesn't seal very well, and that's where the regular door would kind of work a little bit better, but we'll see. It has this large storage compartment, which has my toolbox and basically everything that I need to do any maintenance on the bus. This is where all of our camping gear, our 6-foot foldable table, our camping chairs. We have a folding gazebo that we pop out that gives us shade when we're in areas that doesn't have any. Our exhaust originally came out of the back of the bus, but we have a bike rack back there, so I rerouted the exhaust so that it comes out the side and then kind of bent it down so it keeps the exhaust shooting down instead of shooting at any cars or anything as we're going by. We don't tow a car. We use our 2 bicycles to get around. We were actually planning to convert these to electric bikes so that we can get a further distance and really be able to do more exploring than what we were able to. One of the things that I had to make sure I had with this bike rack is that it folds back, so then I can easily come and do any checks on the engine that I need to, so I can check the oil and coolant levels and everything before we hit the road. As long as those 2 things are full, you're good to go. One of the necessities when you're driving an almost 40-foot bus is the backup camera. That was a game changer for us, and being able to see how close we're getting to stuff when we're backing up, as well as having these backup fog lights for in situations where we're out boondocking and there's no street lights. Coming to this side, we have our freshwater fill. We just have it hooked up as a standard gravity fill, and that goes to 2 46-gallon tanks. And that will get us about 7 to maybe 10 days if we're really trying to stretch the water. This is our 44-gallon gray water tank. This was repurposed from an old RV that we found in an RV wrecking yard. And then we just extended the outlet section and put on a standard 3-inch blade valve, so then we can dump it at any regular dump site in an RV park or a state park or something. This is a breather vent, but it is also a overflow. If we fill this tank before draining it, it will just overflow out of this guy instead of overflowing back into the bus. Our bus did come with factory sanders, so this actually has a big reservoir vat on this side and that side. And so if we're in snow or mud, for example, we got stuck in South Dakota, I just dumped a bunch of sand and that allowed us to just get enough traction to move past the mud and get out of where we were. And then again, these are the storage compartments that pass through all the way to the other side. And this is where our propane can lives. This runs our hot water heater, and then we use this propane can to refill our 1-pound propane cans that we cook with inside. This is just our outdoor shower, and then our Girard on-demand hot water heater. This thing has been great. It's incredibly efficient. For all of our cooking and hot water, that one 20-pound tank will last us 2 months, and it's $12 to refill. The only other modification I did was added a 50-amp shore hookup. So if it's a little cold and we wanted to run like our electric space heater, we can just plug into shore power and be able to run that without any issue. On the roof, we have 1,060 watts worth of solar panels. Those run into our 50-amp, 100-volt charge controller from Victron Energy. That then goes to our 200 amp hour, 24-volt battery bank. From the battery bank, that runs to our Victron Energy 3,000 watt inverter. That's also a charger as well. So it inverts our full electric and then allows us to charge the battery bank when we're plugged into shore power as well. Hey, come on in. It had this horrible plastic dash that was totally unusable. It was this slant, so you couldn't have actually set anything on it. So I tore all of that out and replaced it with some just 3/4 inch finished plywood, and then I used this walnut piece that actually used to be a banister out of some friends of ours' house, and when they were doing a remodel, they gifted this to us. So that worked really well for that space. And then I have this bookshelf up here, and then we repurposed some interior speakers that we had in our old house. The seat that came with the bus was just totally disintegrating and falling apart, but the air ride system was still good. So I just used a seat that I had from an old car restoration that I did. This is kind of my lounging space, plus is also where Rachel and Oakley sit while we're driving. There's storage in the back. This is our disconnect breaker for our shore power, 12-volt fuse box back here. And then underneath, we also have more storage, so our bike helmets, and this is where some of the extra components to our solar system. And then our charge controller is actually underneath this. Everything can lift out, and then there is this vent that allows the inverter to be able to breathe and make sure it stays nice and cool. I decided to repurpose a toolbox that I already had existing to kind of give me a standing desk. I have some of my other computer cables, camera cables, and things like that that are all easily accessible. And then all of the drawers lock, so as we're going down the road, nothing flies open. And then I was able to build the countertop around it. Built this little kind of organizer that I routed out underneath, so the pedestal of the iMac actually sits underneath there. And then I have it set so that my keyboard just kind of docks in so I can still charge it when I need to. We did repurpose some of the original Bluebird lighting. We just replaced the bulbs with LEDs. And then we do have some other LED wall sconces, both on independent light switches. I don't have to have both on consuming energy.
So this is the area of the bus where we have our walls. On this side we have Adam's closet. Across is where we have our composting toilet. And it is one that we built ourselves just because the overall cost, this was a lot more affordable. And we just have a curtain. It's a curtain that we already had in our old house. This side lifts up, and this is where we keep the peat moss, which is what we cover with. And then this side lifts up, and it's where we can have like the extra toilet paper, and I keep like my blow dryer and stuff in there. Built the whole thing with some wood. This is some really beautiful reclaimed wood that some friends gave us. On our YouTube channel under Soulful Best Life, we do actually have a tutorial on how Adam built the composting toilet. So if you want more information about how we did our setup, you can actually watch the video. Coming back just a little further, we have my closet, which is just basically some extra storage behind there. It's where I keep a few of the extra like animal supplies. And Adam and I both have a shelf on the top, just for, again, extra basket storage. We have our shower. It's a full 32 by 32 inch shower pan. And then Adam built the walls. And it's really easy when we need to take our showers. We can just pull everything out, set it up front, take our showers, and then it just goes all right back in. We have an opening skylight here, and this will actually open up so that it can vent out the steam as we're taking a shower, so we don't have to worry about any kind of steam buildup. This is our old pantry. It's empty now because our new tiny house wood stove is actually going into this space. The cat box is stored back here, and the cat she just goes right through there. This is basically the open floor plan that we were going for. So it's kind of the kitchen, living room, bedroom area. And so we have a really large kitchen sink. That was one of our must-haves for when we were doing our bus build. We have a nice big counter space for when we do wash our dishes. It's a 10.1 cubic foot standard kind of residential refrigerator. This works also well for us, and just being an everyday home, we wanted more of a normal refrigerator size. Under here is just super convenient. This is actually where we have just easy slide out recycle garbage, and then it tucks back in there out of the way. And then this drawer opens up, and it's where we can keep our dishes and our dog and cat bowls and all of those things. So that's really easy. We do have a really large countertop area. We have more countertop space in here than I think we did in our last house. We went with just the portable Camp Chef oven. It works great, has 2 burners on top, and we are able to bake and cook in this oven just fine, and we can take it outside when it's hot. And then we have our single burner, which is kind of our everyday burner that we use. We actually find that we don't have to use these burners very often. These are the new cabinets Adam put in this summer, which is where all of our pantry stuff kind of migrated out of there and into these really nice upper cabinets that are locked in place. So this is the rabbit hutch. We basically built this countertop so long because we wanted the bunnies to have as much space as they could. We have 2 fairly large bunnies, Piper and Sirius Black, that are part of our family, and we do get a lot of questions about them. Traveling with the bunnies is actually fairly easy for us. These guys are really chill. They do really wonderful in bus life. For those who always ask, they are totally litter box trained, which bunnies can be litter box trained the same way cats can be. And so these guys come out and run around the whole bus a couple of times every day, and they never have accidents outside their litter box. But they have this whole space here to kind of hang out and play, and they're best friends, so it's really fun when they come out and then the cat plays with them. This is our dinette area. If we're hanging out somewhere really beautiful, we can actually pop the door open. The seats lift up, and there's storage underneath. These open up for more storage behind them. These actually pop open, and then it's storage all the way back. We built our cat a little cat tree area. She scratches on this. She usually sleeps up here, and then this little perch is perfect for when she wants to bird watch. We'll usually leave that window open for her. The TV comes right out, and so I can turn it this way for if I'm cooking or cleaning and I want to put a movie on. And then when we do our movie nights, we can actually just tilt it and it just goes the other side. A lot of people don't put carpet in their tiny houses, but it's easier for her to get on and off the bed if it was kind of a carpeted surface. It's also why our bed is so low. We really wanted to make sure that, again, the animals were comfortable in our home kind of first. Back here, we did keep our king size bed. We managed to make this fit, and then the carpet is actually carried back there, which is really nice because it provides kind of a cushioned headboard. I have my bookshelf back there. I have more books under the bed too, but these are just the ones that I have up on my bookshelf. The bed lifts up on hydraulics. This is where our freshwater tanks are stored, so there's one on either side. The whole kind of center area is storage, so it's where we keep some of like the camping gear, some of my extra books, stuff we don't need to access all the time, but it's stuff we wanted to make sure we had with us in the house. Letting go of like the idea that everything has to be perfect, that's kind of, you're missing the point. It's supposed to like let all that go. And he's a bit of a perfectionist, so I think that was probably a little bit of a challenge.
On one of my tattoos, it says in Latin, perfectius imperfectus, which is perfectly imperfect. I had a very unrealistic expectation on how soon I could do the conversion. And so that was one thing I really had to let go of, was that, you know what, it's not gonna come out exactly the way it's envisioned up here, and that's okay. Don't take the build so seriously. Try and have fun. Yeah. I was working full-time and trying to do the build and trying to have a social life, and like trying to find that balance between all of those was very challenging for me.
Be patient with the process, be patient with yourself, and to just enjoy what you're doing and remember why you're doing it, and yeah, just kind of like let it go. It doesn't have to happen exactly now and exactly at this time and exactly this way. Like, just let it be a little bit more organic and chill.
Thank you for watching this week's episode. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. And if you really love what we create here at FLORB, we're working hard to bring you more, better, higher quality content. And so if you would like to support us, consider clicking the link in the description and joining the community on Patreon, and you can support the channel through that. So if you love what we do, consider checking out our Patreon page, and thank you for watching. Have a great week. Big love. Peace out.